Not long ago, my entire universe was shattered in a single afternoon. I devoted nearly half a century to creating a legacy with my husband Michael, standing by him as he built his empire from scratch. When that legacy was divided, my sons split $30 million between themselves like it was pocket change, tossing me a dusty envelope as if it contained nothing but old receipts. If you've wondered what lies hidden behind those moments when family betrays you, stay with me. The next few minutes could change how you see your own story forever. My sons, Patrick and Lucas, sat across the room, grinning as the family lawyer read Michael's will. Patrick, the oldest, inherited the entire chain of hotels. Lucas took the restaurant empire, the estates on the lake, luxury cars, accounts stuffed with millions. I waited quietly for the part that mentioned me. My daughter-in-law, Harper, looked me straight in the eye and laughed. "Maybe you can save your recipes in there, Margaret." Neither son even glanced my way. I felt invisible, humiliated. But as I walked home, clutching that envelope, I knew something no one else did. Sometimes what looks worthless is the key to everything. That night in my silent kitchen, I broke the seal on the envelope. What I found inside flipped my world upside down. It was a handwritten note for my true partner, Margaret. Swiss account number, Geneva. This is only the beginning. They don't know the truth, but you do. A Swiss account? For almost 50 years, Michael had told me everything about his work. Or so I thought. Why keep a secret account, and why would my sons not deserve the truth? For hours I lay awake, heart racing, mind replaying every moment of our marriage. The following morning, trembling, I dialed the international bank and recited the account number. The woman's words rang in my ears. "Mrs. Blake, you have $100 million in your name." $100 million? My knees buckled. The fortune Michael left behind was over 3 times larger than what my sons had inherited. And it was just the beginning. The bank offered to deliver a private safe from Geneva. I agreed, barely able to process anything. When the safe arrived, my hands trembled as I spun the combination. Our anniversary, July 12th, 1978. Inside, I found photographs, legal documents, stacks of letters, and a thick envelope addressed to me. Michael's words poured from the pages. "Margaret, if you're reading this, I've passed, and by now our boys have shown their true colors. I wish things were different, but you need to know what happened behind closed doors. The Swiss money is the end, it is the start." My world shifted. My sons weren't the successful men I believed. Michael had discovered that Patrick suffered heavy gambling debts, siphoning millions from the hotel businesses. Meanwhile, Lucas fed a hidden drug addiction with proceeds from the restaurants wrapped up in debts to dangerous men. Photographs captured them in the act. Documents proved the crimes. The evidence filled that safe, a catalog of betrayal. I wept. But the worst revelation was yet to come. Michael had overheard them scheming late at night, planning to declare me mentally incompetent and force me into a nursing home so they could seize every last cent. Harper, my daughter-in-law, was instrumental, coaching them to trick me and pursue legal papers for my commitment. 2 weeks before Michael's death, they'd already signed contracts to commit me to Meadowbrook Senior Living, a cold institution hours from home. The deposit was paid, my fate nearly sealed. I saw the cruel blueprints of their plan in cold ink. Calls began flooding in, Patrick with fake concern about my well-being, Lucas dropping hints that I'd be better off somewhere safe. Harper brought glossy brochures, smiling sweetly as she insisted I'd love the gardens. I researched the place. Reviews revealed horror stories of neglect and loneliness. I decided to confront them, using their own weapons against them. During a family dinner, I asked to review the hotel and restaurant financials, claiming I wanted to understand their inheritance. Their nervous glances told me everything. They pushed back, but I held firm. After decades of supporting these businesses, I deserved to know. Harper's tone grew sharp. "That's complicated, Margaret. Let the men handle it." I smiled politely, but inside a storm brewed. When they announced they'd sold one of the lakeside estates to cover debts, I saw through the lie. I knew it was for Patrick's gambling. All night I planned my response. I wasn't the fragile widow they expected. With evidence stashed safely, I activated the legal powers Michael had left for me in the Geneva documents, proof of majority ownership in every business. I hired private security and forensic accountants. I retained 3 criminal lawyers. The net tightened around them, even as they pressed harder to have me committed. The confrontation came fast. Patrick arrived with Harper and a supposed geriatric doctor, intent on declaring me unfit. They tried to trick me with psychological tests, hoping I'd slip, a trap they'd set months in advance. I answered with clarity, deflecting every snare. When the doctor suggested my confusion justified commitment, I pressed record on my phone and read off their crimes. They panicked as I unveiled photographs of Patrick collecting casino chips at 3 in the morning, Lucas receiving cash from shadowy figures in the restaurant parking lot. Harper protested, "It's for your own good," but I presented proof of her $50,000 theft and secret affair with the gym instructor. I called George Mason, Michael's independent attorney. The police arrived. The fake doctor confessed he'd been paid thousands to sign fraudulent mental incapacity documents. The tables turned. My house was mine again. I called my sons, issuing an ultimatum: return every stolen penny, cancel the nursing home contract, confess everything, or face public exposure and criminal charges. Their bravado evaporated. They protested, but quickly realized Michael's legal trap made me the true owner of our empire. For the first time, power was in my hands. Patrick repaid the loan sharks with his inheritance. Lucas checked into an addiction clinic. Harper signed a divorce agreement on the spot. I cut her out of our family with one simple instruction: never return. Days grew quieter. For the first time in decades, I enjoyed peace, coffee and my favorite chair, the restful air of a reclaimed home. But I didn't stop there. I visited every business as owner, meeting workers, listening to hidden stories. Workers shared tales of stolen funds, bullied managers, bribed accountants. They saw me not as the invisible widow, but as a leader. I raised wages by 30%, banned favoritism, and opened a pipeline for honest communication. Change swept through the hotels, the restaurants, the construction crews. I built a charitable foundation using part of Michael's fortune, helping older women who had been abandoned or mistreated, women who had suffered the same kind of betrayal I had endured. Our organization became a beacon. We helped hundreds reclaim dignity, homes, and a sense of purpose. Patrick labored at hotel sites, learning humility. Lucas testified to authorities, helping dismantle a drug ring that had threatened our family. Forgiveness came slowly. Earning back trust required years and action, not just words. 6 months passed. At the launch of the Margaret and Michael Blake Foundation, hundreds celebrated our achievements. I delivered my inaugural speech, sharing the story of an older woman who'd lost everything to greedy children, but found shelter, work, and respect through our program. The audience cried and cheered. Even Patrick sat among the crowd, quietly weeping with pride and remorse as he listened to the mother he'd never appreciated. A year later, business thrived under my care. The garden at my home flourished. Fruit and I planted myself. Sundays brought family lunches, not out of obligation, but real affection. Our conversation shifted away from apologies toward building new dreams. Forgiveness, I learned, is a process. Every day, Patrick earned back my trust through honest work. Lucas helped recovering addicts find hope. Most importantly, I forgave myself for all the years I settled for invisibility, for the times I accepted emotional scraps when I deserved a feast. If you're listening now, ask yourself, how many times have you mistaken crumbs for bread? Settled for less when you deserve more? Is it time for you to reclaim your worth, to rewrite a new chapter, embrace the years ahead with courage? If my story resonates, don't keep it private. Share it. Use it as fuel to spark your own journey. Life isn't a finished book until you decide to. Take your first step now. Unlock your power.